Good morning, Director.
Morning.
I took my lunch. I froze it. Yeah, took my lunch. There. All right, so, on the right track.
Okay, good morning, thriving warriors and those who wish they were. This light's kind of bright. There, that's better. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 6:10 a.m. Have a good morning, Edward.
Thank you. Alexa, what is the date?
Today is Monday, July 25th.
Okay, and Alexa, what is the weather forecast? Alexa, what is the weather?
Currently, in Pahrump, it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit with showers. Today, you can expect some sun and thunderstorms with a high of 93 degrees and a low of 79 degrees.
Okay, got it. All right, so today is Monday, July 25th, right? Yeah, July 25th. Okay, and here we are. So this is Thriving Warrior Career Services. Let me turn this off. Thriving Warrior Career Services, broadcasting from, or recording from Pahrump, Nevada, Pahrump. So this is the beginning of a new week, a new work week. And the question is, what are your thoughts about today? What are your thoughts about today? Because it turns out our thoughts are what control our lives. And our thoughts spring from our beliefs. And our beliefs generally can be traced back I'm recording right now, Anna. A moment of silence. So our things can be traced back to something we were told at an earlier age when we were younger, less wise, by somebody we trusted, maybe somebody we didn't like, maybe it was a criticism, maybe it was a complaint, and we accepted it as true, and we built a belief around it. So you have to unlearn to become successful. You have to unlearn a lot of the things that you know. You have to, as one of the speakers this morning said, you have to lose your mind. You have to lose those negative self-talk, the negative self-beliefs. We all know that we all have different voices inside of us. We all know what a conscience is. That's the other voice inside of us, or another voice inside of us. It's starting to rain. There's a TED Talk by Moran. No, that's not right. Israeli guy who put probes in people's brains on neurons, and he saw that we have thoughts about 5 seconds before we're aware that we have the thought. Then he put the thing on people's head and played a game with them, and it turned out people have these other thoughts in our head. So we know we all have other thoughts in our head. We generally don't listen to them. We don't think they're real. We think it's maybe something else. But in order to have a different result, a different output, you need a different input. 5 plus 3 is always going to equal 8. If you want a number different than 8, you have to either change the 5 you have to change the 5 and or the 3. Now, there's combinations you can have that still add up to 8, like you can do 6 plus 2. However, if you change one of them, if you change the 5 or the 3, the 8 will automatically change. It's the same thing in our life. If you want to change the outcome, you have to change the input. One of the easiest ways to do that is to stop negative self-talk. And we talked about this the other day. Instead of saying, I can't, you change it around and ask, how can I? How can I accomplish this goal? Or as Carol Dweck, who I think is now at Stanford, who's still at Stanford, says you can add yet to something. And still, instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. I can't type yet. Just add one word. That changes everything for your brain. So, another thing is to visualize the outcome. If you see it, you can believe it. So focus on, what do I see in my mind? Do I see failure? Do I see that I can't get things done? Or do I see getting it done? So a lot of people talk about basketball players, before they shoot the shot, the free throw, they see the ball going into the hoop. Or Tom Brady, when he throws the touchdown pass, before he throws the ball, he sees the ball in his mind of where he's throwing it. And he just does it. So he sees what he wants to accomplish, and then he does what he sees. So investigate your self-thoughts, what you see, these other voices in your head. Just pay attention to them and see what they say. And if they're negative, you need to change them. But you got to accept we are controlled by our beliefs. That's what they do. That's why they're a belief. We're controlled by them. So change it to, I see it, then I believe it. Another talk today, a speaker said, success is an inside-out thing. You see it on the inside, you believe it on the inside, you program yourself on the inside, you have an incantation. Tony Robbins will talk about incantations, which is many magnitudes more than an affirmation. It's a whole body experience. You have an incantation and you command your subconscious, you command your mind to do whatever the incantation is. So the process is you have to unlearn, we have to unlearn and then relearn. Well, how do we unlearn? The first thing is to become aware of the thing we need to unlearn. So we've got to examine our beliefs, listen to the little voice in your head. And if it starts going negative, you can say, stop. And guess what will happen? Yeah. Unless you say, I can't stop. I can't stop it. Well, now you're giving it your mind permission to dwell on those negative thoughts. So the point is, at 8 minutes and 35 seconds into it, the point is it's not that complicated. It's not as hard as we make it seem. You've got animals running around all over the place. They can make it. They can be successful in being an animal. You've got pigeons are successful being pigeons. They don't have guilt, shame, negative self-talk. They don't have the ability to because they don't have enough neurons to do that. But they're able to function perfectly well by just doing what they're supposed to do. Don't get your brain get in the way. All right, so let's see what Seth Godin has to say. Paths not taken. And versus or. This is kind of a long one, so I'm just going to go through it once the first time. And versus or. Leading a project is about causing the death of a million ands. There was a long line at the ice cream stand, but the person in front wasn't budging. The customer had narrowed down the choice to 4 flavors, but they were paralyzed, unable to choose. It's not because any of the flavors wouldn't be fine. They were all good choices. It's because choosing one flavor meant not having the other three. Getting an ice cream had turned into a dance with regret. That's the story of Netflix and Prime TV and Hulu and everything else. It's not that there isn't enough good things. There's so many good things, it's hard to choose. You can't build a luxury car that's also inexpensive and drives well off-road and is very fast and super safe. You can't create an event that's intimate, open to all comers, proven, resilient for any weather, held outdoors, and unique. We focus on the frustration of losing and when we get nervous about the decisions we're asked to make, when we are hesitant about commitment. Let me say that one over again. We focus on the frustrations of losing and when we get nervous about the decisions we're asked to make, when we're hesitant about commitment. Okay, so when we're hesitant, when we're nervous, we become frustrated. And we obsess over the constraints we've already accepted because it slows us down and amplifies our fears. Instead of focusing on what we're building, we focus on the paths that are no longer open. That's the or. If we're going to create anything at all, if we're going to ship the work, the positive path is to look for the constraints and grab them. They're the point. Constraints, no project. When we see them as stepping stones on the way to the work we hope to do, they're not a problem. They're a sign that we're on to something. Managing a project is the craft of picking this or that. And isn't often welcome because and is a trap. Okay, so it's get into or. Step out of and, get into or. All right, thank you, as always, Seth Godin. And we are now 12 minutes into it. Let's see, nobody appears to be here today. I will say, boom. Yesterday was the only easy day. And then I usually follow that by saying, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is. Okay, Jeff has just joined. All right, good morning. I don't know where Diana is these days. Anyway, I usually then say, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is. And I have to add on to that the other thing, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You change who you are. To have a different outcome, you need to have different inputs. So with that, I'm going to say cut.
Hello.
Cut.
Yeah, we're good.
How'd it go?